The galactic Colosseum stretched impossibly high into the crimson sky of Nexus Prime, its crystalline walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that had witnessed 10,000 years of combat. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood at the entrance, her hands steady despite the gravity of what lay ahead. "You cannot be serious," hissed Zarketh, the Vrex representative, his forearms gesticulating wildly. His scaled hide rippled with agitation, chromatophores flashing amber warnings. The arena of Dominion is not some primitive gladiatorial show. It is the ultimate test of species worthiness. 17 different civilizations have entered over the millennia. None have survived. Elena adjusted her tactical vest, checking the placement of her equipment one final time. Behind her, the other members of Earth's delegation watched with barely concealed anxiety. The human team consisted of 5 individuals, each representing different aspects of humanity's potential. "With respect, Zarketh," Elena replied calmly, "humans have a tendency to surprise people." The massive gates groaned open, revealing an arena that defied physics. The interior existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, gravity flowing in impossible directions while environments shifted like living dreams. Floating platforms materialized and dissolved, creating an ever-changing battlefield that would challenge not just physical prowess but adaptability itself. "The rules are simple," announced the Arbiter, a being of pure energy that had overseen the arena since its creation. 5 trials, survive all 5, and your species earns a seat among the Galactic Council's inner circle. Fail any trial, and your people remain classified as a primitive species, barred from advanced technology and interstellar expansion for 1,000 years. Elena nodded to her team. Marcus Thompson, a former Navy SEAL, cracked his knuckles. Dr. Sarah Chen, a brilliant physicist and marathon runner, stretched her legs. Dmitry Petrov, a master tactician and chess grandmaster, studied the arena's patterns. Maya Okafor, an engineer and free climber, tested her gear. Finally, there was Jin Watanabe, a surgeon whose steady hands had saved thousands of lives. "First trial, the Hunt of Shadows," the Arbiter intoned. The arena plunged into darkness. Predatory shapes with eyes like dying stars emerged from the void. Creatures that had torn apart the finest warriors of dozens of species. They moved with liquid grace, their forms shifting between dimensions. But humans had evolved as persistence, hunters. While other species had developed overwhelming strength or speed, humanity had learned patience, cooperation, and the art of outlasting their prey. "Formation Delta," Elena whispered into her comm. The team scattered strategically. Marcus drew the creature's attention with controlled bursts of movement, while the others positioned themselves in a carefully planned ambush. The shadow beasts, accustomed to individual combat or pack tactics, found themselves confused by the humans' coordinated approach. When they struck, it was with surgical precision. Dr. Chen's scientific understanding of the creature's dimensional properties allowed the team to predict their movements, while Dimitri's tactical mind coordinated strikes that exploited every weakness. The creatures fell, and light returned to the arena. "Impossible," breathed one of the watching dignitaries. They treated it like a problem to be solved, not a battle to be won. The second trial materialized, the labyrinth of logic. Mathematical puzzles that had stumped civilizations for centuries appeared as living constructs of light and sound. Most species approached these challenges with either pure computational power or mystical intuition. Humans did something different. They collaborated. Dr. Chen attacked the quantum equations while Dmitry analyzed the underlying patterns. Maya approached the problems from an engineering perspective, looking for practical solutions rather than elegant ones. Jin's medical training provided insights into biological mathematics, while Marcus contributed intuitive leaps that pure logic couldn't reach. They didn't just solve the puzzles. They solved them in ways the Arbiter had never seen before, treating each challenge as a team effort rather than an individual test. The third trial brought the Crucible of Endurance, a test designed to push beings to their absolute limits. Gravity fluctuated wildly, temperatures swung between extremes, and the very air became a hostile element. Here, humanity's greatest strength emerged, their refusal to quit. Where other species had superior physical capabilities, humans had something else. The stubborn determination to keep going when every rational thought screamed surrender. They supported each other through the worst moments, sharing strength and resources without hesitation. The fourth trial, the mirror of truth, forced them to confront their deepest fears and failures. Other species had been destroyed by this test, unable to face their own darkness. But humans had always lived with their monsters. They acknowledged their fears, their anger, their potential for violence, and chose to be better anyway. They walked through their reflections not by denying their darkness, but by accepting it as part of their complete selves. The final trial was the synthesis of souls, where the team had to merge their consciousness temporarily to become something greater than the sum of their parts. Species with hive minds excelled here, but individualistic races typically failed completely. Humans found a third way. They maintained their individual identities while creating something new, a synthesis that was both unified and diverse, combining their different perspectives into a harmony that was stronger than any hive mind because it was chosen rather than imposed. When the trials ended, the arena fell silent. The watching representatives of dozens of species stared in stunned disbelief. In 10,000 years, the arbiter spoke, its voice carrying undertones of amazement. No species has completed all 5 trials. The humans are the first to not merely survive but to transform each challenge into something new. Elena stood with her team in the center of the arena, their faces reflecting exhaustion but also quiet pride. They hadn't won through superior strength or technology. They had won by being entirely, authentically human, cooperative, stubborn, creative, and unwilling to accept that any problem was truly unsolvable. As they walked out of the arena as champions, the galaxy learned something important about the newest members of the Galactic Council's inner circle. Humans didn't just survive challenges, they redefined what it meant to face them. The warnings had been justified, just not in the way anyone expected.